We're still gathering all the facts about what happened, but we do know that the police have one suspect in custody. And the federal government stands ready to do everything necessary to bring whoever's responsible for this heinous crime to justice. We will take every step possible to ensure the safety of all our people. Even as we come to learn how this happened and who's responsible, we may never understand what leads anyone to terrorize their fellow human beings. Such evil is senseless, beyond reason. But while we will never know fully what causes someone to take the life of another, we do know what makes life worth living. It's how we choose to treat one another and love one another.
Breaking news right now, chaos erupts after a controversial police shooting in Anaheim, and tonight the tension continues. Officers fire what appear to be beanbags and unleash a canine into a crowd of women and children. We have the disturbing video taken as it happened. Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Susie Sa.
And I'm Rob Schmidt. This is KCAL 9 News at 10. We begin tonight with breaking news from Anaheim. Police are facing off with an unruly crowd that showed up to protest a shooting earlier in the day. The trouble began late this afternoon with an officer-involved shooting in the 600 block of North Anna Drive near La Palma. KCAL 9's Jay Jackson is live in Anaheim with what's happening right now. Jay.
Rob, we're on La Palma and Acacia, where this scene is still a very active scene. Take a look behind me. You can see police cars are lined up here on La Palma, and you're looking west on La Palma right now. Earlier today, there was a scene that was a near riot as police confronted people who were protesting, as you mentioned, an officer-involved shooting. Just moments ago, there was a dumpster fire out here. There was citizens that had shut down the street. Now police have cleared that out, but here's the video from earlier today, which can only be described as frightening. Chaos and violence in the streets of Anaheim. Anaheim police firing rubber bullets confront a crowd of terrified children, parents, and angry residents near La Palma and Acacia. Then one officer unleashes a snarling police dog, which attacks a mother holding her child and this bystander.
They just started shooting and I was with my son and the dog just came.
This is the man that was on the floor. And the
he was on the floor and they shot.
Talk about what happened.
They just released the dog and I had my baby and my in my stroller, and the dog just scratched me with his teeth and then just grabbed me.
It all started around 4 o'clock this afternoon when police shot this man, known in the community as Stomper. Police say he was one of 3 men who took off running when they approached him earlier in the afternoon.
What exactly happened during the shooting, we don't know. We're still investigating that. But the shooting occurred and the male was taken to a local hospital.
But neighbors who saw the shooting say police overreacted. Then they confronted the officers, demanding answers. That's when the pandemonium broke out.
We just started shooting again. No, we don't have no guns, nothing.
I just got scared. I just saw a water bottle get thrown in the air. They just started shooting everyone. They shot a little kid too.
And back live once again, you're looking west on La Palma. This is where police have just broken up a small protest where some citizens had set up a dumpster fire and even shut down the street. Now out here, there were dozens of people who had their cell phones, and at least 4 different people told me that police officers offered to buy their video from them without any explanation. Of course, that's all part of this investigation as it continues to develop out here in Anaheim.
Glenn, tell me about your new reality TV show that you're producing.
Okay, well, I wrote My Hardest Step. It's a reality-based TV show I'm shopping to the networks. It's already in print, Kindle, and audiobook. And think intervention, but solution-orientated. I'm challenged with addictions. I spent a lot of time in prison. Became a best-selling author of drug war and prison stuff. When I got out, I met Phil Duran, the ex-TV producer of a bunch of TV shows like All in the Family, Too Close for Comfort, and a bunch of others. And he helped me turn my life around and get my compulsions in order. And My Hardest Step is based on that. And toward the end of My Hardest Step, I had to make amends for some in-prison violence and stuff. And so I end up meeting some more of the cast of My Hardest Step, Mr. Joe Cremo and Mrs. Bree, and many others. We have ex-gang members. Mr. Cremo was a professional surfer. He's an amazing artist. Mrs. Bree is a model. She works in the adult entertainment industry, and we're going to show the world how to understand addiction better how to recover from it, and we're going to bridge the gap between families and children where the gaps of understanding is missing. So we're going to bridge that, and it's going to help a lot of people.
Great. Thanks a lot, Glenn.
Starting off this hour, a horrific chain of events has played out in California over the last few days. Several incidents involving police officers taking extreme measures, using violence to try to control nonviolent people. Let's start out with Anaheim, California. Police on Saturday approached several men in an alleyway, and when those men started running, one of them was shot dead by police, though he was unarmed and posing no danger to anyone. Then, as hours passed and neighbors began to protest and demand answers from police, police responded violently. Once again, take a look.
They just released the dog and I had my baby and my
You can see here they were shooting rubber bullets and let go of one of these dogs who ran directly at this man here, as well as that woman who was holding her baby at the time. Witnesses visibly upset and angry, and frankly, many of them say they were scared for their lives. I want to talk more about this with Michael Preisner. He's the member of the Answer Coalition. And Michael, from what I understand, you were there. I saw you tweeting about this over the weekend. Describe the scene on Saturday and what you saw unfold here.
Sure. Well, I wasn't at the incident Saturday. I've been in the community talking to witnesses, talking to victims of the police attack. I was there Sunday when we, community members, and the Answer Coalition and others took over a police station for about an hour in protest. But to let you know what played out on Saturday, by all accounts of witnesses who were there and those who were victims of the attack, someone named Manuel Diaz, who is a local resident in the community, was not in an alleyway with his friends, as the police say, but was simply in the neighborhood. They did run when police confronted them, but when Manuel Diaz had already been shot once and was surrendering, when he was shot a second time in the head, killing him, at that point, he was still alive. People in the community were yelling out to the police that he was still alive, to give him medical attention, but instead the police were more concerned with blocking people filming and then handcuffed and searched Manuel Diaz as he was dying on the ground. Then, understandably, people who had just witnessed this attack and who deal with police brutality and intimidation on a daily basis was coming out onto their front lawns into the community, voicing their opposition to what happened, peacefully protesting on their front lawns what had happened in their neighborhood. And the police responded unprovoked, without warning, first firing rubber bullets, beanbag shotguns, which have both been known to kill people, using pepper spray bullets and tear gassing people, and then unleashing an attack dog, as we saw in the video, on a woman and child. And a young boy was mauled in that dog attack, as were other young people as well. And then we know that protests continued. They continued throughout the night. The next day on Sunday, we had a large group of us that was led by the family of the victims. And in fact, 3 young girls whose brother was the one that was mauled by the police dog led the demonstration into the Anaheim police station, where we took over the station for over an hour, chanting, cowards, shame on you, to the police who were there, and really shut things down for a while.
A couple things here.
The protest continued throughout the day.
A couple things here, Michael, because you touched upon quite a few things, so I want to kind of break this down for a moment. First of all, it was really interesting because I was kind of reading about this over Twitter and stuff as it unfolded over the weekend. But the fact is, you know, the police department at first said, oh, the residents were throwing things at us. You know, as you say, maybe the alleyway was incorrect. The fact is, usually, and I've worked in local news for years, when you are trying to get the facts of a story, oftentimes all you have is this police statement. We are living in a new age today because we have cell phone video more and more often. What do you think, you know, how do you think this is going to change things? I mean, we saw, and it was brutal to see that dog, that police dog, run and just start attacking a man. Do you think things are going to change now with these videos?
Well, it's going to be the people mobilizing that's going to make these things change. And of course, this revolution in technology has really revolutionized the way that we can monitor police activity, because this is not an isolated incident. This is nothing new. The reason so many people have come out in protest is because they are used to this as a day-to-day reality in their communities, this type of brutality and this type of violence from the police force. So now, for the first time in the history of dealing with police violence, we are able to actually document what's happening and counter what's going to be given given out by the police, which is 99% of the time going to be complete fabrication to justify the actions that they had taken on. And even with this case of saying, oh, they had to respond because people were throwing bottles, that is very likely not true. Witnesses say that aren't true. But even if it was true, does that justify shooting weapons that can kill people into a crowd of children where there are baby strollers, where there are mothers holding infants? If this was a white, affluent community, the police would have dealt with this situation very differently. But because it was a poor, working-class Latino community, the knee-jerk response of the police was to start firing on people.
Well, it was really interesting, too. I'm not sure if any of the residents told you this, Michael, but a lot of them saying police officers after this incident were actually knocking on doors trying to buy cell phone video, which I can only assume would be paid for with taxpayer dollars, to try to prevent this video from being released. Your thoughts on this?
Absolutely. The police did go door to door in this neighborhood, offering, from what I hear, a significant amount of money for any cell phone footage or any video footage that people had of the incident. In addition to them, the first thing they did after killing Manuel Diaz was trying to block people from taking video. And what this shows is that the police departments all around the country are well aware that now, for the first time, their actions are up for public scrutiny and a matter of public record. And that's something that is very scary to the police force, because up until now, all they've had to do is maintain their code of silence, where no cops rat on each other. Everyone conducts these types of actions every day, but they're kept safe. But now people are now in their own hands, having the ability to expose what people deal with every day in the United States.
And it's not just police departments all around the country. Of course, that's true. But we want to hone in for a moment on police departments in California. California residents, of course, no stranger to this. We've just put together a few clips that I want to play. And this is how it's going to play out. It's Scott Olson, critically injured during an Occupy Wall Street protest in Oakland, followed by video of a BART police officer fatally shooting Oscar Grant, also in Oakland, and finally of a 37-year-old homeless man beaten to death by officers in Santa Ana. That also caught on camera. Take a look at this.
What happened? What happened? Got hit. Shot. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? Okay. Yeah, dude. Yeah, just come. Please. Hey, come on. Please don't, dude. Please.
So really just all of these things so hard to watch. And yet some of these incidents have prompted mass protests, and yet this is still happening. Why do you think this is, Michael?
Well, it was interesting to see the demonstration yesterday at the police headquarters, the Anaheim police headquarters, because, the epidemic of police brutality, not just in the United States, but here in California, that protest consisted of many family members of very high-profile police killings. For example, Kelly Thomas, who was seen in this video. People who had been active around the Kelly Thomas campaign. Families and friends of a man named Mike Nida, who there's a protest this Saturday, who was murdered in Downey, California. And so, this isn't, of course, an isolated incident, but what is going to stop it, of course, is the people mobilizing in response and putting enough pressure on the politicians, on the police department, to take drastic action. Of course, there's deeper systemic problems linked with these things that are much deeper to address. But I think immediately what can happen is people mobilizing, putting pressure on the city council, on the police department. So every single one of those officers who played a part in this police riot and these police killings are fired from their jobs and are tried in a court for the crimes they've committed.
When you took over this police station, went down to it on Sunday, did the police understand why you were there? Were they courteous to you?
Well, I wouldn't say they were courteous. They were very afraid. They basically locked up all the windows and doors that they could. We basically had the lobby completely under our control. The only police officers there were the ones that were just guarding the entrance into the back area of the police station. But they weren't courteous. They were just very, very scared, because they know that video footage does not lie, whatever lies they're used to putting out in statements to the press, their actions are on full display for millions around the world to see.
All right. We'll appreciate having you on the show to give us a firsthand look at what you saw, at least in this protest on Sunday. Michael Preisner, member of the Answer Coalition, joining us from our LA studios.